JD here, and today we're going to be looking at this, the Intelligent 3D Pen by Tecboss. Now, I've always sort of had a love-hate relationship with 3D printer pens. I love the idea of being able to actually draw in 3D space, and it's very difficult to find a pen which actually works really well. Now, with this one, you get a lot of accessories. So obviously we have the pen here, and we have the pen holder with a nice little suction cup on the bottom as well there, so you know when you put the pen in there it's going to stay nice and stable. You've got some thumb guards to stop your thumb from burning, because the end or the nozzle of the pen can get up to 220 degrees Celsius. You have a little plug, and you have a cable, which is your power cable, and then you have a selection of PLA and ABS. So these are 3 meter long PLA and ABS, as you can see, or you can do what I have done, and I have devised myself a little almost like toilet roll holder for a 1 kilogram spool of PLA to sit on, so I can draw and have a continuous feed that way. But it's nice to get some packages of PLA and ABS in there to start off with. You also get a full manual and a registration card, as well as you get some templates, so you can draw some things like Christmas trees, glasses, there we go, and that way then you can wear 3D glasses. And also this little instruction manual here, as well as competitions they have on, and there we go, a bit more information about your pen. So that is fantastic. Today we are going to be looking at and testing this pen. Now let's just clear this out of the way for a second. We've been through a lot of this, so we don't need to see all this again. So let me put away all this and just tidy up this area a little bit, and then we look at the pen itself. So when I was looking for this pen, I went through a load of websites and I was looking for a good one. There's loads of other pens out there on the market. I'm quite wary about the majority of them, so quite literally what I did was I thought I would see what is rated on websites, on some of the 3D printer forums that I'm a part of, see what is rated quite highly on those, and then go from there. So this is the pen. So right away you have a little LCD panel here with a left and right button. This little LCD panel changes whether or not you use PLA or whether you use ABS. Then you have 2 little buttons on the side here. Now when you come to use the 3D pen, this nozzle here gets very, very hot, so you want to keep your fingers away from that, which is why you're given those little finger holders there, so that you don't burn your skin. I advise you use those as well, because they are going to be very handy. You also have your 2 little buttons here. So you have your button to pull in the PLA, which gets fed in from the back. Keep your finger on that. It'll get fed all the way through the motors and start to come out here. When it starts to come out, then you can draw, but you still have to have your finger on that button. And then likewise, if you fed too much PLA out, then or if you need to change your PLA rather, you click that and then feed the PLA out. Now be careful when you do that. What I recommend is you would wait until so you finished using your pen, you unplug it, you leave it, right? Your PLA then gets a little bit solid. You snip the end off and then plug it back in and then retract it. So that way you're retracting the whole of the PLA back out through, and you're not leaving any horrible marks inside there or anything which is going to clog up the pen. And then likewise you've got 2 little buttons either side here. So you've got speed up and speed down. So if you want the filament to come out a bit quicker, then use the speed down button, which is that one, sorry. And then if you want to speed up, then you want to click that button there, so to get the filament out quicker. So it looks quite nice, quite stylish. The thing I like about this one is it's not too thick. I've used some pens in the past and your fingers have been literally like that around it. This is quite stylish. You still have the pen holding in a way that you would use a normal pen, sort of, apart from it being a little bit thicker. So then likewise you just start to draw with it. Very, very nice. A couple of technical specifications about this. So, compatible filaments are all 1.75mm PLA and ABS. This is standard, whether you have a big desktop printer like you can hear mine in the background, or if you have a pen, it's pretty much nearly all going to be 1.75mm. You want to double check to ensure you're getting the right one. Then, as I say, you can use PLA or ABS. You can use these buttons here on the LCD screen to change the filament type, so PLA or ABS, as well as changing the temperature of either. Because PLA inside this pen is recommended to work at 160 to 180 degrees Celsius, and ABS 180 to 210 degrees Celsius. Now, anybody that has a 3D printer will know that those specifications are quite low. For a standard desktop, say using for my desktop 3D printer, the Ender 3, that one I run my PLA at 200 degrees and my bed at 60 degrees. So the PLA in this is going to be 160 to 180. That's because you don't want to melt it until it's almost like a very thin goo. You want to melt it enough so when you're drawing, it sets as you're drawing, so then you can draw in 3D space. That's the whole idea with it. So that's why those specifications are a little bit lower. As for the pen holder, it does what it says on the tin. Now, because this isn't going to be the place where I want the pen to be always, I'm not going to lick that end and stick it down. But you can see it does work if you have it one way. Oh, if you have it the other way, it doesn't. So if you have it one way, then it does work, no problem at all. That's good. Right. So then we come on to the power. So the power itself is going to be 2 amp, 5 volt. So one end you have a DC connector, so you plug that in there, and then the other end you have USB connection, standard USB 2. So then you connect that in there. And that's what it looks like. So then you can plug it in. It has quite a long cable. You can plug it in and away to go. Now, the thing to realise is right at the back here, you have your PLA filament winder. So you can't do anything like that. This hasn't got a battery until you plug in your power cable. Then you can start feeding in your filament. We'll do that in a little while. What I'm hoping to achieve with this now. You can draw in 3D space, as I've already said. That's what I'm looking forward to the most. But the main reason for me for getting this particular pen is because I wanted a pen which I can then use to fix up some of my models. So here's a model that I printed ages ago. It's a very, very elaborate model. It's a Terminator head. And which is a bit strange for me. Yes, I know. I have a fascination with robotics, cybernetics, and especially the Terminator. And as you can see, the supports inside its face failed directly here. Yeah, there's a couple of other bits. I haven't touched it up. I've just left it pretty much as is. What this 3D printer pen can do is I can rebuild this face. Now, it's not going to look perfect, but it is going to look a little bit better than, well, that battle damage that you see there. So if I didn't have the pen, that's exactly what I was going to do. I was going to chop off this end here and leave it as battle damage. But literally, as I have got the pen, I can fix his chin. I can fix the metal strutting here as well. And I can also touch up this side as well, which is also badly damaged. And that was caused by the supports that were made from here, which were drawn up to here, failing when it got to there. You can see the point it exactly failed on. And then as a consequence, the print head was bashing against this and actually made everything really brittle. Lucky it actually finished the print. The rest of the print came out really, really well. Apart from, there's a little bit of shredding under there, which I don't really mind, not really that concerned about. But other than that, the cloth effect on the back is lovely. But it's his face that has always bothered me. So I want to get that fixed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the pen to fix this up once I get pretty good with it. So that is my reason for that. It's because I have quite a few, and when I say few, maybe about 4 or 5 of those particular style size busts where their faces are looking quite, well, damaged. This can help me tidy that up. Right then, my friends, we're going to leave that there for the unboxing. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to set up a few things, and then we're going to try this pen out and we're going to see exactly what I can draw. My drawing skills aren't great, so I'm going to try and draw something really simple, but we're going to put this pen to the test and see exactly what it can do. Alright then folks, I've got my head cam on. I'm hoping this is going to work because this is quite a small place for me to work, and I need to see exactly how all this is going to come together. Here's the pen. I'm running this off my little battery pack there. It's more than enough just for this demonstration. I've met the minimum specifications for the power. Once you plug it in, now this is where you might not be able to see everything, so I apologise if you can't. It says PLA, push a button, and it says the PLA temperature. And then if I push the other button there, it says another temperature inside there as well. There is a way that I can change that to ABS. It should just be to push that button, should then say ABS. Oh, it does. ABS. Yeah, it does. It's me reading it backwards because the A is capital, the B is lowercase, and the S is, it looks like a 5. So PLA or ABS. When you set it up correctly, push the button 7 or the down arrow, and then it goes red. Then you see these numbers start to climb up, which means this nozzle, this extrusion end, is starting to heat up. So you're ready. If I put my hands there, be very careful not to burn yourself. I don't recommend you do this. I'm just doing it so I can feel the heat of it. So as that now is starting to heat up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just leave that there for a second, because if you lie it down, the nozzle doesn't touch the bed, which is good. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of all this packaging around the PLA that came with it. Now I'm very fussy when it comes to PLA. I only use two companies. So this is the test stuff that comes with it. It feels a little bit too shiny for my liking, but still I'll give it a shot. Now what you've got to do, there we go, when the light goes green, it's at 165, 166. When the light goes green, you can then start feeding this in. So you just touch it in the back until you feel it start to be fed in, and then as you keep your finger down that button, you can hear it starting to be fed. So I'm going to switch, there we go, I'm going to switch my hands so I can start writing like a pen. Got to keep your eye on this nozzle here. This nozzle, you should start to see everything come out of there. This pen is going between 165 and 166 degrees Celsius. It's very hot, I can feel it. My fingers are well away from the hot end, and there is nothing coming out of there yet, but it is feeding in because I can feel it. So it's just taking a time. It has got to feed right the way in through here, and then as soon as it comes out this end, you should be okay to start drawing. Now what I'm going to try, this is a new cutting board I've got here because my old one was absolutely awful. So I'm going, there we go, it's starting to come through. I can just see there's a little bubble here. There we go, there it comes. And then you can start to draw. Now, as you draw, it's starting to dry almost immediately, I can see. So then, once it's dried, you can, oh, that's broken that. I was going to hopefully try and draw in 3D space there, but perhaps my skills need to be a little bit better. I can, oh wow, I can smell, there's a hell of a smell coming off this. Hell of an odour. Now usually when you use a 3D printer there isn't any smell. Though all that it is normally is just cornstarch, because that's what PLA is. And as this is PLA, it does smell very, well, corny. So, oh no, that wasn't good enough. So let's draw a little circle and let's draw it up from there. Like that. Is that going to dry? There we go. Can I leave that for a second there to dry maybe? Maybe not. No. No. I need to get the hang before I can do 3D space then, obviously. I need to get the hang of that. Wow, that is really, really dry already. So let's put that to one side. Let's start again. Let's draw a bit of a circle. Now you can speed up if you want to, or you can slow down. As you can see, I haven't got my finger always depressed on this. I've just pushed it once and it's just feeding out the PLA. There's a bit of stringing going on there. But as you can see, it's very, very simple. So you just start to do different layers. And then if you do sort of like, kind of like a really bad infill job, so the infill is what gives the 3D print its stability. Normally, on a big 3D printer, you would do something like 20% infill. Here, it's just down to your technique, and I'm going far too fast there for a second, so I need to slow that down. So then you get some sort of infill. Like that. It's so far, it's pulling quite nice. It's quite equal when it's pulling through. And it's sticking again at 165, 170 degrees. 165, 166, sorry, degrees. That hasn't altered. There we go. And I can feel that when I'm touching this PLA back onto the dry PLA, the PLA is solid. It's not tacky. It genuinely is solid. Of course, I need better skills to do a lot more than this. But this is just a basic sort of infilled PLA structure that you can then start to make into, like, say, a cone or something like that by bringing the infill layers further in together, and then you can, over time, you can build it up into like a cone. I was hoping in the advert it did show that you could do it in 3D space, but I don't know whether that's just ABS. But so far it's working really nice. I'm quite astounded at how easy this is to use. And it is really simple. Of course, my own drawing skills are absolutely awful, but at the same time it doesn't really matter because this is just a test. And obviously I'm going to be doing this over time, so I am going to get better at it. But it doesn't really matter. See how many times you go over it. It's creating a really nice circle. Okay, it's not a perfect circle. It's not even a proper circle as such, but there we go. And then to turn it off, you just click that down button again, and it stops extruding. Even though a little bit is going to keep on coming out for a couple of seconds afterwards, but that is essentially what we've got there. And then you can click it again, and then it should start to, there we go, it should start to come out again, which is what it's doing. There we go. And now we can build up again. So if I do a couple of blotches here, I really want to start, I really want to build in 3D space. That's what I really want to do, because it really appeals to me. I want to make some like big towering structures and stuff like that, and then see if I can make a mesh on my other 3D printer and then draw inside that mesh. Got lots of plans, lots of videos coming through the channel on this. So as you can see, out of the 3 meters that we started off with, we've still got quite a bit, and I've managed to make 2 really awful structures. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see how, is it still going to keep on burning through? It might, because that's what happens on a normal extrude and a normal 3D pen. It does burn through for a little while after. So you are going to have to make sure while this cools down, then what we can do is, if we long press, let me see, so it has stopped. So now what I want to do is just turn it off. So do I long press the up arrow, there we go, and then just help it, and it should start to take out the filament. I don't recommend you leave the filament in there for any time, because otherwise you might find that it helps to clog up the nozzle. There we are, this is bone dry now. Bone dry and freezing cold. And that's the end of it. That's what you've got. Look at that. Okay, the lines are terrible, but it's a 3D printed structure. And then when you want to change the PLA, just keep your finger on it and just let the PLA come out the end. If you gently put your finger on the PLA, you'll feel it moving and coming out. So there's a little square. There's a little whatever the hell, little circle. There we go. And that's the PLA, straight out. And then you can put the pen down. And after a little while, it should stop. Oh, there we are. I just pushed button 7, which is the down PLA arrow, to stop. And then you can unplug it. And then that's it then. It's done. So we have used a little bit of PLA in creating a box and in creating whatever the hell. And yeah, it's all right, actually. You know, it's got a bit of structure. It's got it's a bit solid, but you know, it's okay. It's not bad. So far, that has done everything it said on the tin it was going to, i.e., well, apart from one thing, which was to draw in 3D space. But I think that's a learning curve on my part. But it has been able to draw 2 very, very simple structures. And those have ended up all right. and I'm quite happy with that. So I tell you what, I'm going to do a little bit more learning with this, and hopefully then I should be able, I want to be able to print up into a triangle or print up into a big structure, and I'm hoping I can do that. But I haven't used that much PLA. There was quite a bit of a smell, quite a bit of a scent from this. So what I would say is just open a window. It's not enough to make you feel heady or anything like that. I mean, all it is cornstarch, but at the same time, you do want to have a bit of ventilation. Or if like me, I use an air purifier, so you can use an air purifier as well, and that'll just take the smell out. But yeah, so far that's actually okay, and it cools down. I can put my hands there. It cools down quite slowly. So with my hands there, not on the hot end, I can feel the heat. I wouldn't recommend you put it back in there until it is totally cool. But I'm going to see how long that takes to cool down. There we are, my friends. That's actually pretty good. And how much battery has it used from this? This was full, and it's used 1 bar of battery to do those two. So I would recommend you plugging it directly into a proper power supply. But this was just for a test, and I don't have any plugs around here, so that wasn't too bad. I'm really impressed with that. I think that's really good. There we are, my friends. Well, I hope you've enjoyed that little demonstration and unboxing. Thank you ever so much for watching and listening. I've been JD, you've been fantastic as always. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe and ring that bell too. Hello and welcome to all the new subscribers. I hope you're enjoying the channel. So until next time, my friends, happy printing.